and welcome back to Let's Talk Chicago Bears. And it's a Victory Monday. 2 games in a row. Can you believe it? Not me. This is the first time, and this is so sad that Coach Flus has won 2 games in a row. Not that's not a good stat to be happy about, but a win is a win, and this was a great win. This wasn't like the Minnesota game 12-10, which a W is a W. I don't care if it's ugly or whatever. But in the people don't when they see the W, they don't think, oh, ugly, good, blah blah. No, it's a W. And I got to tell you what, it was it was a really good game from beginning to end. The Bears come out, they score first, they set the tempo for the game. I mean, we all know we should have beaten Detroit, 3 weeks ago or whatever it was. We know that. Well, we made up for that yesterday for sure. The score was 13-28, right on. That puts the Bears at 5-8. And I got to tell you, the Bears played a complete game. There was another game in the season. I can't remember one of the other wins we had, and it was like that too. But this one was better. This one was all around a really, really good game. It's like, who are these Bears, right? Were you not thinking that? Of course, come the fourth quarter, my son and I are like, okay, here we go again. They're starting to move the ball. They're doing this. But you know what? The Bears defense is like, no, that's not going to happen. And then the Bears offense finally stepped up and did their part in this game, which they have not done in quite a while in this season, and it was just a really good game. And the biggest thing that happened is they finished. They finished, and they finished with a good victory. The Bears beat Detroit in every category. In every category. Yeah, isn't that crazy? So, you know what? Let's just talk a little bit. I mean, I would be dancing around if I had 2 legs, but as you know, I had complete knee replacement surgery done in November, so I'm still healing from that and recovering. And I got to tell you what, it is a long, boring recovery with pain on top of it once you start rehab. Not fun. But at the end of the day, I want to get this leg going so I can drive again, because I haven't been able to drive. And it blows counting on people to get you around. You take it for granted when you can do that stuff. So, why am I talking about myself? I don't know, Len. I know. Okay, let's get back to the game. So, the Bears, as I said, won every category in this game against the Lions, and they won my threes. I talk about my threes. Come on. Time of possession, turnovers, and penalties. They won the time of possession 39 minutes to 26, and look what that meant. Offenses on the field for the Bears, and their offense was off the field, and it showed, didn't it? We had 3 turnovers, 2 interceptions, and a fumble. Ever since that first Detroit game, all of a sudden, this team is a turnover machine, and it's awesome because see what it does? The things it does when you get turnovers, it just ignites the entire team, and it worked. So we had 3 turnovers. The Bears did not turn the ball over. Right on. And the most important thing, and my biggest bugaboo, penalties. Now, you know me. I hate penalties. Well, because they do so much damage. And I always have a rule of 5 or less. The Bears had 4 penalties for 39 yards. And Detroit had 8 penalties for 59 yards. 35 yards for the Bears. 4 penalties for 35 yards. The Bears have been averaging, I didn't look, but I'm pretty sure I can figure out in my head, they've been averaging about 7 penalties, if not 8 a game. So this was a huge improvement. Clearly it was something talked about, and it should have been. Coaches should have been on their asses about this weeks ago. But my threes, I'm just saying, you win them. All three of them, you're close to winning that game if you don't win it, and they did. Right on. Right on. Fields was 19 of 33. He had 223 yards. Not overly spectacular in the air, but there was some bright spots in this game for him. He threw for one touchdown. He rushed for 58 yards, and he scored a touchdown. So he had a very good game. He did not turn the ball over, which is huge. Of course, I'd like to see him more passing yards as all of us, but they did go downfield, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. Goff was 20 of 35 for only 161 yards. And if I told you, if you remember, he had over 3,200 passing yards going into that game. So that the Bears, the secondary, and I talked about this, the secondary will have their hands full, and they did an excellent job once again. I mean, the defense played excellently. They gave him up 13 points, and scoring points. The Detroit, I want to say they were in the top 5. If I can remember from Friday's show, they were in the top 5 in scoring points. So their Bears really shut them down. So he had 161 yards. He threw a touchdown and 2 interceptions. Nice. And then we did that to him weeks ago, so we showed he's vulnerable. The Bears had a total of 142 yards rushing. We beat them. The defense did give up Detroit 140 yards. I didn't dig that so much, but they had to start going to the run because he couldn't pass. Our secondary was doing such a great job. But the leading rushers were first Justin. He had 58. Then Foreman. So happy to see him back. I love this guy, Foreman. Great pickup in the offseason. He had 50 yards. Moore actually had 20 yards and a touchdown. We all know that. And then it went to everybody else, Herbert and Johnson and all those guys were contributing in the 142 yards. Passing-wise, Moore led the game with 68 yards passing, receiving yards, and 1 touchdown. Yeah. Clement had another solid game. He had 66 yards. Mooney came in with 44 yards, and Foreman had 22. We know that Moore is great, man. That one pass in the end of the third quarter, it was 4th and 13. Now, Justin saw there was a play called when it was 4th and 13 in that third quarter, towards the end, I believe, and there was another play called, but once Justin saw that the defense went off sides and there was a penalty, he had a free play. And like we've seen many teams do to us, he did to them. He sees Moore, who was running. He knew he had a free play, and he beat his defender. Touchdown. That was a thing of beauty. Me and my son were going crazy. I'm like, what the fuck are they doing? 4th and 13? Now, I think that might have been a little bit out of Santos' range, and they thought, well, or Flus is thinking we got to score more points because, we got to score more points. And it was the whole thing just was great. It was so nice. It was like we saw what other teams do to us, and we saw what good teams do on stuff like that. And it was just a thing of beauty. If we could get Fields to do stuff like that all the time, we'd be golden. We really would. And we're going to get into that a little bit in a minute. But the defense, another stellar game. I mean, they held Minnesota to 10 points. Of course, that's a backup quarterback. But still, it is the NFL. They have become a very good team. They've had a great game. Everybody on the defense showed up. And as I said Friday, everybody on that defense, everybody on the team has to play their individual best out there each week and each and every week. And they're doing it. They're getting better and better each week. You can see it. Adding Sweat to this team completely turned it around. What a difference. Some people may not like all the stuff Poles did, but I got to tell you, he rocked it with that trade, that signing and that pickup, and then he signed him to a long-term deal. And you can see how huge our sacks and turnovers went up when he joined the team. And the backfield, another really solid game. I mean, and I told you going in, they were going to be tested, and they stood up to the test. The defense, again, had sacks. They had 4 more sacks. And I think we started out with 17, so that'll put us at 21 now. And before, we didn't have any sacks. I mean, last year we were dead last in sacks, so huge improvement. Sacks and hurrying the quarterback, huge, and we saw what it did. I told you on Friday's show that no quarterback likes to have people in his face, but you can definitely fluster Goff, and it showed, because that is one of the bugaboos, is he can turn over the ball. The sacks were contributed by 98 Sweat, 93 Justin Jones, 91 Dexter, and I don't know this guy's name, and I forgot to put his number down, but I'm going to spell it. I have no idea. Ngakoue? Ngakoue, another defensive lineman. The defensive line, look at 4 sacks. And that D line was all over the place. They played a damn good game. And if you go back, in the beginning of the season, we were just like, oh my God, they couldn't stop a baby from crawling. That's how bad they were. They did give up 140 yards rushing, but it's because they had to start rushing more, Detroit, because they weren't getting the passes because of our backfield was so good. So congratulations, guys. We had 2 interceptions, one by number 33, JJ, and number 49, Edmonds, our linebacker, had a interception as well. And then we recovered the fumble when Goff mishandled the snap, and we got the fumble, and we got the ball back. I mean, these turnovers were huge. They gave us good field position, the momentum, etc. And number 9, Brisker, our backfield guy, who I just love, second year with us, he had the most tackles yesterday with 13. That backfield, so impressed. I mean, we really have... This defense is coming together, Of course, in the draft next year, we're going to go for... I don't know what's going on. It's way too early for me to even think. They're starting to talk about, what's going to happen in the draft. I don't even want to get in there too much specifically. But the Bears, their defense is really turning around and coming together. And if we can keep them together, I don't know whose contracts are up, but if we can keep this together as much as possible, I believe they're going to get better and better. And they're really starting to play. You got to give Flus a lot of credit on how he's turned that defense around, because remember, he doesn't have a D coordinator. And each time we win now, as I told you on Friday, that's going to keep Flus as our head coach next year. And I do believe he's going to be our coach. I really hope Getsy isn't there, but I do believe. So we'll talk about Noah Getsy. Getsy actually had a pretty good game plan yesterday, I got to admit. For him, I mean, there was a few dumb plays, but he's always going to have those. But he had Fields throwing downfield, which was so nice to see, because we haven't seen that in weeks, and you're not going to win if you can't throw downfield. But it was nice to see Fields seeming to be more relaxed out there. He did get sacked 3 times. I believe one for sure was on him because he held on to the ball way too long. So it was a cover sack. But that's where he's still got to learn to throw that ball away. But he seemed more comfortable out there yesterday. So that's a good thing. We really got to get him the confidence and see what we can get out of him. The one thing he still has to work about when it comes to the sacks is he's got to work on trying to avoid the sack. So you see so many quarterbacks out there that can do that. The pockets, coming in, and they just sneak out. And he's really got to learn not to get so flustered and try to duck and try to avoid that rush. And if he can work on that, that would be a huge improvement. So that's something besides hanging on to the balls, not fumbling. He didn't fumble yesterday, but it's still a big problem for him. Although I think he did, but we got it back. And then he's got to work on trying to avoid the rush when the when the offensive line and the other team's D is crushing that line. He's really got to work on that. But the offense had a really solid game, every one of them. And what was really important is, all the penalties we were getting this year, the majority of them were on offense. They did excellent in that area yesterday, which is so important because see what it does? You don't get a first down and then the flag comes out and you're back, 10, 15 yards, whatever the penalty is. And then you're going backwards. The Bears did not do that yesterday. That's huge. See, all these things I've been talking about all year, it's the truth. But it really, the offense came up. The rush was working. His receivers were getting open. They were there for him. Clement, God, he just had a great game yesterday. He really did. I saw him. I throw this one block that was just phenomenal for a huge run, and again. It's just really good. The team played a complete team, and they finished. And a reporter asked JJ, number 33, our backfield guy, what the team was talking about in the fourth quarter after what happened in Detroit in the last 3 minutes where we lost that game. And he said all we kept saying was finish. It's finish, finish, finish. And they did it. This team, earlier in their season, this is the team. It's finally coming together. This is the team that we were hoping we were going to see starting 2023, and we didn't. It was just awful. And then thinking about it, going back to, we had a lot of injuries early on. We had a coaching shakeup where we lost our D coordinator. The team was not playing well together. We were missing pieces, and the missing piece was the D rusher Sweat. Huge difference coming on the team. It's amazing what one player can do because he could just bring these guys up to his level, and then he gets double teamed, and it opens up opportunities for other people. And yesterday, the other guys showed you they could get the sacks. And Sweat is just, so the pieces all seem to be coming together. There's only 4 games left, a little late in the season, but we have 4 games left. And quite honestly, I heard some people saying, playoffs. I get the players are talking about playoffs because that's what the coaches are saying. But we've got 4 games left. They would have to win all 4 games. They're winnable. We play the Browns next week in Cleveland. Then we play at home Arizona Cardinals. Then we play the Atlanta Falcons at home. And then the last game is the Green Bay Packers. And we all know, anybody watching this show knows that's the one we really want to beat. So we have beaten now. We went 500 with Detroit. They won 1, we won 1. We went 500 with Minnesota. They won 1, we won. And the Minnesota game, that first game, the Bears should have won 2. So actually the Bears essentially could have beaten both Detroit and Minnesota twice because those first 2 games, they were in them to win it, but they didn't. They didn't finish, especially 3 weeks ago when we played them. But so the Bears, they're winnable games. I really do believe if they could keep their shit together and play like they played yesterday. And it would make me happy if the Bears could finish at 500 or close to 500, which would be exactly what I was hoping for this season. I really was, because I knew we weren't going to go to the playoffs. I was just hoping to see an improved team and playing 500 ball. That just catapults you until the next season. If you could keep the majority of the team together, and I think we're going to have a good shot at that, then it just rolls over to 2024, and you're like, okay, look what we did at the end of the season. We're just going to pick it up and go from there. And that's what the Bears need to do. Now, Fields, of course, is the biggest question mark. He's still showing signs of flashing where, wow, you're like, wow. And he can run, he's athletic, but he does have some problems. He can't seem to get away from the rush on his own. And we got to work on the fumbling and just being able to get that ball in there, even though there's a close window, learning when to release the ball at the right time. Hasn't been doing that, but he's starting to. So if we could get Fields to play these next 4 games and improve on these areas and get better and better and get us some W's, I believe he'll be back. And I think I could live with that, because then we'll have 2 first-round picks in the draft next year, and we don't have to pick a quarterback. So there's a lot you can do with it. Of course, the more the Bears win, the lower they will go down in the draft, but that's their first one pick. We've got the Carolina first-round pick, and they've only won 1 game. So I think we're going to be picking within the top 5 with that pick next year. So the possibilities are endless if we can keep this momentum going and getting this team better and better, because the defensive line is really playing well and where they thought they should be. So, yeah, sure, you can go get a defensive line. Another edge rusher wouldn't hurt. I'd like to work on the linebackers. I think we need work back there. And then our backfield is as solid as it gets. It really is. And then you could do, we don't know where Marv Harrison Jr. is going to be. Harrison Jr. is going to be that wide receiver at Ohio State. Be great to have him. Boy, you don't think Justin would love that? So, a lot of possibilities. So, the Bears, this game was freaking awesome. I mean, I didn't watch the game. I didn't take notes like I normally do. I'm very diligent of it because my grandson was here yesterday, and I got to watch it with him, and I do play with them. I mean, I saw the game, but it was fun being high-fiving. Hello, I'm back. I bumped my microphone and turned off the volume, but it was fun watching the game with my son. My grandson. He's 20 months old, and he's giving us high fives. It was great. It was just a great victory, and it is a great victory Monday. So, can the Bears keep this momentum going? I mean, as I told you, Arizona, Atlanta, Green Bay, and the Browns, beatable. I think they can beat the Browns, and I honestly, if they played like they did yesterday, they're going to beat the Browns. They're going to beat Arizona. They're going to beat Atlanta. It's Green Bay, depending on how Green Bay's playing. They've been playing pretty good, which really makes me sick to my stomach. How did they get 3 great quarterbacks in a row? Not fair. Not fair. F you, Green Bay. But if the Bears do continue to play as a team, go out there and play your damn best every week these next 4 weeks, we could be close to 500, and that would be huge because we weren't looking at last year, and look at how this year started. So, of course, people are like, oh, great, then we're going to keep Flus. But you know what? I got to give Flus credit. He's keeping this team together, like it or not, and his defense is freaking rocking it. Getsy's the one that's got to go, and it scares me because if they keep winning, he might not, but I really think he's got to go. But then the problem with that is then Justin has to start over with another OC. And it's not easy to do that. Learn all the new plays again. So if we were stuck with Getsy again, a Noah Getsy, a Dona get it, he would have to change his play calling. He's not calling plays. He's got to let Justin play a little more freely. So we'll see. It's just a great game, isn't it? It was just so much fun. It was fun hearing the fans yelling and singing and clapping, and it's amazing what a victory does. And it's amazing when the victory was a real victory. I mean, we won against Minnesota, 12-10, but not a pretty win. This was all around a beautiful win. Go Bears. I know you got it in it, and I think we can finish winning some more games, and all I want for Christmas is the Bears to beat Green Bay that last game. And what would be really great is if Green Bay, their playoff was on the line getting into the playoffs, and then we come into Green Bay and we kick their ass. Would that not be a happy new year? You bet, baby. Okay, so That's it. I do apologize. I don't think I'm as enthusiastic and like I usually am, and this and that. Because I'm fun, and I like to have fun on the show. So if you're new to it, oh, and guess what? Somebody else subscribe. I am now 10 away from getting my goal of 400 subscribers. I'm at 390. Come on, people. Any friend that you have, just say, do you go on YouTube and just have them sign up? I don't care if they watch. Well, I would like them to watch the show. But, well, yeah, Lynn, I know. But let's get this old lady to 400 subscribers. I mean, how many times do you see a 65-year-old woman now living in Vegas, left Illinois 6 years ago, lived there my whole life, been a Bears fan my whole life, 48 years, you know that, and doing this show. And you know what? I think I know a little bit about football, so I'm giving you good knowledge. I don't get into breaking down the plays, like some shows do. I have a buddy that I do a show with, a podcast, which we have not done since I've been on IR with my knee. And then he does a lot of those kind of shows, but where he breaks down, they go play by play. I don't do that. You just want to hear me give you some facts, what happened yesterday, the good and bad, and yesterday was just a damn good day. So, I do promise when the Bears win, there's a Victory Monday, I sing the Bears touchdown song. And I got to thinking of this. First of all, I can't stand the song. I think it's awful. But I think the Bears should have a contest and come up with a Bears victory song. So at the end of the game, when the Bears win, the fans sing that song and serenade the Bears. That's what they should do. I think I'm going to have to write my buddy, those are the envelopes up there, you see them, or the letters. Those are from George McCaskey's. I've written him 3 times, and he's written me 3 times back, and I've talked to him on the phone. I do have his phone number. I know. So, I think I'm going to have to suggest him because they need a victory song. Don't you guys think? They have the touchdown song, but a victory song would be good. So put on your earplugs because some people have been waiting for this. I only sang it. This will be the 4th time. No, 5th time. 5th time this year. So you ready for this god-awful touchdown song? But I'm doing it because I promise. Bear down, Chicago Bears, make every play clear the way to victory. Bear down, Chicago Bears, put up a fight with might so fearlessly. We'll never forget the way you filled the nation with your T formation. Bear down, Chicago Bears. Let them know why you're wearing the crown. You're the pride and joy of Illinois and Vegas. Chicago Bears, bear down. Right on, Lynn. Wow. That's about the most energy I've exerted in weeks. Excuse me, but there you go. A promise is a promise is a promise. I'm telling you, we need a victory song. Anyways, you know what? It is just a good day. Yesterday was a good day for this grandma. It was a twofer for me. My grandson was at my house. We were having a blast, and we saw the Bears win. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Rock and roll Barber. Nothing better, isn't it? Okay, Bears fans and watchers. And again, if you know anybody else who would like to subscribe, let's get this old lady to 400. Wouldn't that be cool? And as always, I'd like to end my show like I usually do. Be kind, love one another, stop hate, respect one another. We're in this together. This country is just, it's just not the greatest country in the world anymore, and that's our fault. And we need to come together. There's a lot of really good people out there. A lot of really good people. And then there's a lot of, let's just rally around, love one another. You know, it's the holidays, and everybody's so super generous at the holidays. But why can't we be that way all year along for 12 months of the year? Why can't we do that? We need to. And you know what? My heart is full for all of you who do watch me and everybody who's subscribed. You know, I've got some great family who have been worried about me and checking on me. I got very, very good friends. My friend Denise, God bless her, she's been the chauffeur for the last 4 weeks driving me around. And Peggy, I can't thank you enough. I love you. I will say that every show moving forward. Stan, your wife, rocks. And go Bears. Next week, next Friday, we will talk about the Cleveland game and see if we can get ourselves another Victory Monday. Because then you can hear the song again. All right. As always, go Bears. I love you guys. And keep on rocking and rolling from Vegas, baby. Bye-bye.